Since you have started your online journey on online entrepreneurship, probably you were an entrepreneur. Now that you are planning to get on online board, digital world, how to create a digital kingdom, how to create digital empire and stuff like that. I think the easiest way, now when I say easy, it's an adventure. Now why do I say an adventure? Because I'll tell you. When you go for a roller coaster ride, which is again an adventure, I used to call things, it will be fun, it is fun, this is going to be fun, that is going to be fun, but then I kind of took those words back and I was like, okay, it's not fun, but let us convert those words into adventure. I'll tell you a slight story just before getting into the topic. When you go for an amusement park, for example, you probably have visited. Now when you go go for some crazy in a way rides, let's take an example of roller coaster. Now that roller coaster ride, when you said it's an adventure. Now why do I say an adventure? Is because it is going to be fun, you're going to get scared, that fear is going to kick you in, you're going to be very sad that you made a very bad decision, the fear is going to stay there, you're going to be really happy, enjoying the moment, and you will be overwhelmed at a point. And for example, if someone has taken you along with them to that particular ride without you making the decision, you will also be angry at them, like, why did you took me there? So that sums up an adventure. Now when you go for a trek, when you go for a hike, there is like all sorts of emotions are there with you. As a combination of emotions consists of an adventurous emotion. That's why it's like, it's not fun, it's going to be an adventure. Now when we want to talk about creating an online course, how do we script that? How do we script a video? How do we script a blog? How do we script a YouTube video? How do you script in general? But specifically an online course. This is something that I have been using for like past 1 year and immensely getting results. But it is a process. It's not going to be an easy one. It's going to be an adventurous one. So how do we segment that into 8 different categories? 8 forget about that. AEIGST. EEIGST. So let me share the screen over here. You can take a note, quickly take a note of this one. Let me change the color to black. B.F.S.P.R.E.L. I did better than before. Before it was like all over the place. Now it's perfectly cool. Now this is like an abbreviation of the things that we're going to dive down, and it is going to be pretty straightforward and just pointers that you can take, consume, and start creating courses. Cool. Now B stands for cool. This is an adventurous way of creating an online course which is going to create an impact. Now creating an online course in 8 different steps for being an introvert entrepreneur. Now if you have to pronounce it, it's going to sound funny, but then let us give it a shot. B.F.S.P.R.E.L with a B silent. Cool. It's going to sound like this. B.F.S.P.R.E.L. F-S-S-P-R-E-L. B.F.S.P.R.E.L. Now B is going to be silent. So we're not going to say anything. It's just going to be silent. Anyways. So now B stands for brainstorming. B stands for brainstorming. Now whenever you have an idea that for example, if you want to create content around calligraphy, if you want to create content around gardening, if you want to create content around wall art and stuff like that, so what would be your online coursing reward? So okay, the first step would be, how do I put that into brainstorming version of it? You take a script book, you take a book, the big one. In the center, it's like this is going to be the topic of my course. Cool, this is going to be the topic of my course. And what do? You put the topic within the circle and just keep it over here. And I think I've learned this from Catherine Jones, like one of the mentors that I have. She gave me a hack which is very profound in a way. That hack is going to be like this. 20 minutes, put a timer. 20 minutes, the goal is not to stop writing. The goal is not to stop writing. So whatever comes in your mind, you just script everything out. Whatever comes in your mind, just start here and keep on going across the board. If you feel like going all the way back, you can keep on writing stuff down. So that's how you brainstorm. You squeeze in your muscle memory and get the juice out of it. Moving on to the second one, framework. framework. So once you have everything in front of you, how would you want to have, like, okay, that topic is mistakes, segment. That topic is myths about a certain thing, separate. This is how people, these are the statistics of doing things, separate. These are the potential mistakes that people do, separate. This could be the confidence part of it, separate. This could be the mindset, the psychological part of things of, for example, skateboarding, separate. So when you put a framework like this, it's easy. Step number 3, moving on to segmentation. So once you put a framework and outline, a blueprint in front of you, you segment things out. Okay, what could be going as a structured course? What could be going as a podcast, a YouTube video, an online course, maybe a bonus one that you plan, maybe a live session that you plan, maybe a workshop that you plan. You keep on segmenting things and kind of systematically arranging it. Now segmentation, it plays a huge role. Segmentation plays a huge role is because now it is segmenting everything that you've brainstormed. One of the most powerful things is like, okay, what would go as my mini course? What would go as the basic course? What would go as the game plan course? What would go as an action course? What would go probably in the first time they attend your session, or for the first time they're interacting with you, what would go there? What would be the highest priority based on everything that is scripted out, everything that in a way you have kind of taken it out from you, squeeze that muscle memory, and okay, based on priority, you kind of segment everything and put like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You kind of put that in ascending order. After segmentation, brainstorming, framework, segmentation. The fourth one is what? Scripting. Once you've segmented things down, now you take the first topic in front of you. Okay, now I am going to talk about, for example, Morse coding, bucket list, Morse coding. I think it's called Morse coding. Now, what do I want to create on Morse coding that is number one priority for you? What could be that? So you put that in front of you and start scripting it. It's like, if someone who has no idea but is interested in Morse coding, or example, play guitar, if they come to you like, what should they know first? Put that down. Second, put that down. Third, put that down. Fourth, put that down. Fifth, put that down. You keep on putting that into priority list and start scripting things out. Now when I say scripting things out, when I started off my journey, I wish I could show you this video, but there's no time for that. Anyways, whenever we start anything, it's like, it's funny, weird, and we are so embarrassed of those things. Like when we start off like doing all sorts of cool things, which you think that they are cool, but anyways, when I started off scripting my courses, in the first go itself, I used to read things down. It was a Word document. I was like, literally, okay, now today we are going to talk about an online course. An online course is an interesting way of doing things, and on blah 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 blah. You keep on reading things. So that's how I think that's like the step number one of scripting it down. Now, as and how you keep on working on your mindset, your muscle memory, slowly things take a shift. And you go from scripting it down to just having bullet points in front of you. Now, as I'm communicating with you, as I'm recording you, I just have like fistful in front of me, and muscle memory is kind of working, going all over the place, bringing stories, experience, stuff like that, and just sharing with you. And the more you practice it, the more your script is going to get crisper and crisper and crisper and crisper. Cool. So the key point is like, you keep loving what you're doing, and keep on researching, learning, and keep on practicing, vocalizing. It's the best. The more you vocalize it, the more crisper the content will get. Number one. Number two, moving out from scripting word to word, all going all the way to bullet points, not bullet journal, bullet points. And when you have bullet points, to be very honest, if you just have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points in front of you, just have those points in front of you. And when you have those points in front of you, it is just to keep you in check and just go with the flow, have a conversation, have a communication. Just what's on the top of your mind will just keep on flowing. The more you practice this skill out, the more you will get better at it. So that's about scripting. Now moving on to B.F.S.P.R.E.L. P. The P stands for presentation. Now presentation can be created in multiple formats, multiple forms. Presentation goes PPT, You can create something on Canva. We've got like thousands of templates out there. Then we have Google Keep. You can just brainstorm things and Google Keep. You can mind maps and mind notes are very fancy and very cost effective today. You can dive into that one as well. There is the least amount of the least amount of resistance that you'll ever face is paint and brush. Systems have got paint and brush. You can use that where you can design stuff and talk to people about that. An online whiteboard. If you want to discuss something, it's like, okay, we are going to talk about a square today. A square has got A, B, C, D. We are going to have sine, theta, or example. So these are very cost effective things. Whiteboard. You've got whiteboard physical over here. You've got, if you just have a book, you can script things down, show people out and stuff like that. You don't have to have fancy room and studio apartment and studio office and crazy gear to start off with. You don't need all those things. Presentation. Moving on to B.F.S.P.R.E.L. R stands for then start recording it. The best way to communicate what you have shared to the world is start recording it. Start small. Start writing small little blogs or posts so that people don't judge you. You kind of overcome, you get that courage and stuff like that. You move on to the second step, you start recording a podcast. You move on to the third step, you start recording videos. That's how even I started off this journey on. E stands for editing, which you don't need editing when you start off things. The last point is L, launch it. Launch it. As it sounds simple, but then when you follow this part, again, there's everything has gotten, every alphabet that we spoke about here has got a journey in itself. The key over here is to start what you've learned here. Period. So that being said, thank you so much for listening till this point in time. I really appreciate the fact that you're here. And the goal of this video is not to just teach you stuff, but the goal of this video is you to start taking notes, start creating your online course.